Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umber Rays, and good news for all of you global people who have been waiting a long time for one banner, because let's face it, you guys are constantly waiting for some banner to show up, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, although it is something that is kind of funny, especially because it's just like, well, it just goes from horde for one character for horde for another character. One day you guys will learn that hoarding, well, it doesn't work because this is all RNG based. Anyway, let's talk about Xenogears, because Xenogears has been kind of revealed, possibly by mistake too, because I don't think it was intended that this news was up this early. So apparently somebody snapped a shot earlier today that on the Google Play Store, well, look at that! An event begins in 7 days. The Xenogear collaboration. Obtain new characters such as Faye, Ellie, and Bart. Oh man, I think many people have been waiting for this day for a really, really long time. Faye, Ellie, and Bart have been on Global's radar for a long time, for a bunch of reasons. One, Xenogears is kind of this classic JRPG from the PlayStation era that a lot of people really, really like. So yeah, I mean, the Xenogears banner was a big deal on JP, and I fully expect it to be a big deal on Global. Now, of course, we don't have any details of what the step-up banners will be like, whether there will be finally the introduction of the guaranteed tickets, like, and I mean just like JP got them. So there's a lot of big questions, but a lot of people are probably, or have been hoarding for Ellie for a long time, and I've done multiple videos on this. I've been waiting as well for this to happen. The characters themselves, are they really worth it? At this point on Global, probably quite a bit less so than they would have been if they had come out months ago, when they were probably supposed to come out on Global. Xenogears, when it came out on JP, was a big power creep for, for everyone on JP. Not so much for Faye. Faye was good. There was no question about that he was good. But finding a chaining partner for him back then was not necessarily easy. For Global, it's probably going to be easier than it was for us. And yeah, just thinking about that for a second really does put it kind of in perspective. That, I really like him. He's a pretty cool unit. He's got some good chaining. He's got a good limit burst. But really, I mean, the big one was Ellie. And Ellie should still be impactful on Global. I don't know if she'll be anywhere near as impactful as she was before, but she has a high base magic stat. She has strong chaining. She has stacking damage. Her 7-star cooldown, man. That 7-star cooldown does a lot to really power up her attacks for one major turn. Not only that, but just giving her access to multicasting for for the next turn. So yeah, I really, oh, sorry, pentacasting. Did I say quadricasting? I think I said pentacasting for one turn. And yeah, the 100% debuff also pretty strong. Really, Ellie is should still be a very powerful mage. But the reason that I say that she won't be as impactful is because Global has power crept a fair bit of where, JP was when these units have came out. So with units like Sophia from the Star Ocean banner, it's not going to be as impressive or as big of a power jump, which is kind of fine. I mean, Ellie was a huge monumental thing that came on Global, or on JP, sorry, until, I think it was basically until Soul showed up, when we finally could definitively say that, yes, Ellie had finally been moved on from, and then a little while later, we got CG Darkfina, and that really pushed the mage meta even farther, but different area. Point is, Ellie is still really good, but, well, before I give the but, let's talk about the other character. Excuse me. I don't know what's going on today. I guess I was talking too much yesterday. Or screaming because I was playing Sekiro, and that game is very difficult. Bart is the last character. Bart, now, he is basically kind of support. He does have some damage options. He has dual wield, but the big thing with him is imbuing elements, which, again, I feel like there are already, you know, some of those options on Global that we never had on JP. So he's less impressive in that sense. He can give an AoE dodge, which is pretty good too. Other than that, here's the thing. This is the but. This first Xenogears banner is actually a banner that I am recommending less than the second Xenogears banner now. Looking at the way Global has kind of just smashed Gilgamesh in a few days, has kind of proven that the power level feels quite a bit higher on Global than it was at the time of JP. And so, yeah, I don't think that these units are going to be as big. If you're a fan of Xenogears, then of course you're going to be super, super happy about it. And you're probably just going to pull like you're a... Nah, I'm not going to make that joke. But the point here is that the second banner, I think, is actually better for a couple of reasons. One, Satan. Satan is just a better character in terms of DPS, in terms of limit burst, in terms of a lot of things. His biggest competition will be Axstar. So if you want to skip on the physical DPS, basically Faye, I'm not going to include Bard in this, Faye and Satan, then your next big one will be Axstar, and either Axstar or Satan will be plenty good physical DPS for a fair while. Yeah, I expect there to be some global exclusives that come out that will probably put the power creep a little more in line, and that's assuming that Axstar doesn't just get pushed back a little bit to try and minimize his effect. But in terms of physical DPS, Axstar or Satan is probably your big one if you want just something that is really powerful, current for a fair amount of time, and just overall great. Those are probably your two best options for physical DPS. If you already have AoE dodge and elements are, you know, not a problem to get on your attackers, then you can probably skip Bart's. Those are the two big things he brings to the table. Mages is a toss-up. This is really more of a double good situation for anybody who doesn't have Sophia, because there are two mages back-to-back that are strong for a good long amount of time, especially with enhancements. Ellie or Maria. Ellie on the first banner, Maria on the second banner. Ellie is a very strong Chaos Wave chainer, but when it comes to her introduction on Global, there is one big question. Will the Global side fix her chaining problems with Chaos Wave? If she does, then this is an absolute easy recommendation. Ellie is fantastic. But the other choice of Maria is also a really good option too. Maria has a little bit better support and can output some high DPS, especially with her enhancements. So both Maria and Ellie are absolutely solid mages. Again, well, this comes at the end of the video, so I feel like less people are watching at this point. Both of these are really good mage options that will do you for a fair amount of time. Like, if you're looking for the tippity top tier, then yes, Ellie will be for current, and Maria will probably be for the long term after her enhancements. Both are really good. Both will support your party really well. I think they're both perfectly fine. I don't think there's anything to complain, except for maybe Ellie's chaining. I'm really kind of hoping that they fix Ellie's chaining. And for anybody who's wondering, it's not so much the frames that are the problem here. The frames are actually perfectly fine. It's the startup time on Ellie's attack, which is slightly different, which breaks the Chaos Wave chaining. And that's the problem that's always been with Ellie. But if a lot of people are pulling for Global for Ellie, then the really good news there is that it shouldn't be hard to find chaining partners or friends with Ellie's. Yeah, she's just a really good mage for the future. Especially with Dark Shiva and Dark Titan. Golem. It's not Titan. It's Golem. Does remind me that we haven't seen a Dark Esper trial for a while on the JP side. Maybe that's next month. But yeah, when it comes to Ellie, Ellie's wind chaining will be particularly good against Dark Golem, and then she can also output a lot of damage against Shiva too with her fire attacks. So yeah, Ellie's good. Ellie's good. I don't really know what else to say. The only other thing is probably looking at the banners that will be coming around, and that's assuming that there isn't some kind of Easter banner, because I feel like if I should recommend some of this stuff, I should probably talk about some of the close to banners. There will be the next Final Fantasy Tactics banner, and I know that there are people out there who are Tactics fans, so Ultima, a also really strong mage, so I guess you have 3 in the same block. The only thing with Ultima is that she is non-elemental chaining, so that's kind of a nice too. You know, God, I hope she gets really good enhancements. I want an excuse to use her in Beowulf again. After that will probably be maybe the new 5-star Golbez. I'm not sure. I don't expect Rubicon to show up, but I do expect Golbez to return in some form. And after that will be Axstar, Aerith, and Red 13. All very high wanted characters, I think, by a lot of people. Aerith is the next really big jump for healers. Again, not assuming global, and there's also Myra too, which maybe, but yeah, it's a little bit conjumbled trying to figure out exactly where global is. You guys have a lot of good equipment, and even with the, you know, unstackable stuff for a lot of globals things, you guys do actually fairly well for surpassing what JP feels like it has. So at the time, and maybe into the future. But yeah, there's a lot of high-profile banners coming in the future. A lot of resources will probably need to be spent on all of these. So, you know, really the advantage that I think always global people have is that you get to choose what you really want. So tell me what you want, what you really want in the comments below, and no matter what banner you're going for, best of luck to all of you. It's not about being top tier all the time, it's just about having some really solid characters that you enjoy having on your team. Says the guy who's been using CG Rain to get through a lot of content recently. It's a funny old world, isn't it? Anyway, that's all for now. See you in the next video. Till later.